I recently picked up the Moondrop Tessence tactile switch. I've used the linear version of these switches before, the Luna Lights, and I actually kind of liked them. You know, I thought they were really good switches, so I wanted to try out the tactile version just because I've been getting a little bit more and more into tactile switches recently. The thing that attracted me to these switches in general at first is just the fact that they are a collaboration with Moondrop. If you're not familiar with Moondrop, they are an audio company. They make IEMs and headphones and that kind of thing. And I think they built a little bit of a reputation for being pretty good quality for the price that you pay. And I was wondering if that would kind of transfer over into a keyboard switch with their name on it. I tried to look into these switches a little bit, and from what I could tell, they are a design collaboration between Moondrop and G Square, and the actual switches themselves are manufactured by Haimu. So like other Moondrop products, the switches also come with some kind of drawing of an anime character on the inside, which I actually honestly, I'm glad to see. I'm glad that Moondrop kind of is sticking to their brand identity and always including some anime character inside. So if that's something that you would enjoy, fear not, I guess, because there's still an anime character in here for you. Aside from that, the packaging is a little bit, I don't know, over the top for keyboard switches. I have never purchased any other keyboard switch that is packaged quite like this. So for actual like switch specs, we're looking at a top and bottom housing material of nylon, and the stem is going to be palm. As for the spring, that's actually a 22 millimeter long two-stage spring. The switches themselves are indeed lubed from the factory. You can see here on the stem, there's just visible lubrication on it. It actually looks a little messy, so I think these are hand lubed. So I'm going to go and I'm going to throw these switches into my QK65V1, just a board that I've had for a really long time. But I feel like the general thockiness of that board would lend itself to a good tactile switch, so we'll go find out and see how that is. So when it comes to the tactile bump on these guys, the bump is like way near the top of the stroke. So like I'll put the specs up on the screen. Like I'll just, here, this is like the chart and stuff for the switch. But yeah, no, it's an early bump, about 0.5 millimeter in. And from what I have kind of experienced, like just feeling the switch with my hand, it's kind of like a P-shaped bump, I guess, if you kind of know what I mean. All right, so for keycaps, we are gonna go with SA Oblivion in the SA profile. So kind of a taller keycap if you're not too familiar with SA, but this is F9 for instance. I don't know if you can really see this very well, but it's a tall cap. It's just way taller than, you know, Cherry profile, OEM profile. It's a pretty big cap. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw these on and see how they sound. You know, I kind of like them, honestly. They're pretty good. So that is actually kind of really nice. I don't know, I like that. So I've always liked the QK65. It's been a really marbly board. Like it's this kind of sound that I just really like in a keyboard. The tactile switches are, I think, a pretty good fit. I really enjoy that longer spring, that two-stage spring. I don't know, like just those two things together, the QK65 and the switch is really nice. But then once you throw on the SA profile caps, you get this super high keyboard. Almost uncomfortable, I would say. The thing about the QK65 is that it already had a really tall typing angle, and the SA caps just make this board really high. So I don't know if I can say that it's a very comfortable keyboard to type on for a long period of time. It might be like one of the, if not the loudest keyboard that I have, at least in kind of like frequent rotation. So it's fun. I will probably keep it like this for a little bit until I switch out the caps or something else. But the switches are good, honestly. I used to really be fully on team linear for quite some time. So I'm just now trying to figure out where I stand in terms of tactile switches. But I like these. And I think for a switch that's kind of easily available, because drop.com ships kind of worldwide. You do have to pay like obviously shipping fees, and those can be a little bad if you're shipping like across the ocean, like I am, like to ship it to Japan. But if you can somehow get them on sale, you can get a coupon or something. The Moondrop Tessence and even the Lunalight that we checked out like a long time ago, they're pretty solid switches. Again, they're made by Haimu, which I haven't really heard of before, but they have a pretty good reputation, I think. Feel free to check them out, especially if you are curious about tactile switches. It's got a pretty good spec sheet, so I go check it out. I kind of like it.